Another very common trait of Asperger's is the fact that people often misread or completely miss facial expressions, body language, the social cues that give us the idea of what to say next in a conversation. Do you experience that at all as well?
I do. It's more subtle than a lot of people with Asperger's can't tell the difference between a smile and a frown. And a psychologist will present a smiley face and say, "What's that?" And they don't know. And they'll put a one with a frown on. "What's that?" "I don't know." They can't read it. Well, obviously I'm not like that. I can make eye contact. My problem is that I either don't maintain eye contact for long enough, or I stare them out. So I do have a problem with the balance, but I can make eye contact. With face expression and body language, I misread the subtleties. So I do know the difference between a smile and a frown, but I do misread the subtleties. I sometimes draw conclusions about people, about what they've said, and the way they've said it, that are completely wrong. I've worried about what people have said because of how I've read the body language, and got very paranoid about it, and it's turned out to be nothing. I've had to go and either apologise for what I thought I might have said that's upset them, and they don't even know what I'm talking about, or I accuse them. I have been known to accuse people of being funny with me, and being prejudiced in some way, and they're shocked. And then I realise I've done it again. Misread the signs.
So has it perhaps got you into trouble, maybe sort of almost like a lack of empathy with the person you're talking to?
Yeah.
Has it caused you issues with friends or family?
Yeah, again, it's a subtle thing, because I do empathise. If someone's ill or they're deeply upset, I can empathise. I can put myself in their shoes and think it must be terrible living with that problem, or I can understand why they're upset. So some with Asperger's can't do that. They cannot understand why someone doesn't like something or why they're upset. So I'm not severely affected, but again, it's subtle. I can give an example. I was going out for a walk with my friend Anthony, and we're having a good conversation. I can't remember what it was about, and he suddenly stopped me dead. I said, "Right, that was very offensive what you just said." He said, "But because I know you, and because I know you don't mean it to be offensive, I'm going to let it go." And I can't actually remember what it was I said, but I can remember the shock of just suddenly being stopped in mid-conversation, and he was clearly deeply wounded by it.
So it was obviously, to him, you'd perhaps been too offensive.
I thought it's not him being oversensitive. Like, sometimes it can be the other person, can't it? I knew, because of the way the conversation was going, it wasn't him being oversensitive. Whatever I'd said,
you really had hit a nerve.
Pressed a button there, and he was not happy with me. And I apologised for upsetting him. But for the rest of the conversation, at the back of my mind I was thinking, why did that upset him, what I said? And as I say, I've forgotten what the conversation was about now, but I still remember his reaction, and remember the depth of the feeling. He was deeply cut by it, and the confusion in me. I think I have no idea what I did there. And so you can't stop yourself doing it in the future.
No, you can't retrain yourself.
This goes back to the shying away from socialising. There are a few little techniques that I have had to develop where if I'm in a new situation and I don't know people well, I just don't speak. And then people say, "Oh, you're very quiet today." And I'm thinking, yeah.
It's a fear of putting your foot in it.
If I open my mouth, sometimes people are joking and I crack a joke and think that it's in the same vein, and it's not. I've crossed the line and I'm insulting them, and everything goes quiet and they all stare at me. That is deeply uncomfortable. And I'm thinking, well, you said this, and then he said that, and then I said this. How is what I said different to what you two said? And it baffles me. So the fear of getting it wrong, sometimes I will retract. If I do get it wrong, I will retract into a shell and stay away from people for a while. Or if I'm invited to something, I just won't go if I think that might happen. So it's hard to live with. And it's the thing that makes me, I won't say laugh, but it's not really a laugh, ha ha. It's more of an irony. When people talk about It's a subtle expression of Asperger's syndrome. That's what I've got. It doesn't feel
that
subtle
subtle
to me. You know, it's a very real problem that I battle every day.